Okay. I'm not sure if my sound's working or not. I'm showing microphone, but I don't know. Sorry about any technical difficulties I'm having. I'm actually just learning OBS Studio. I actually have it down pretty well for when I want to do some Game Boy games, but I'm still trying to do some cool stuff with the tech bench here. So bear with me while I troubleshoot this. And let me just see if the stream's working that way. I may not even have my volume. Let's see, anything coming through? Yeah, it seems to be working okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna have some really nice backgrounds, hopefully some ways to clean up this image just a little bit better so it's better organized, along with the ability to multi-stream better. I've been wanting to do some clips, that way people can just get right to the point. Today, I'm doing a real easy one, so hopefully this will be a bit of a shorter stream today. I've been so busy lately and getting ready to move, and I still want to really make some time to make progress with this streaming. We're going to be installing this ExtremeRate shell for the Nintendo Switch version 1. This one specifically is my girlfriend's. It could probably use a bit of a cleaning here, but that's all right. She's a busy lady. So we'll take care of that for her. And we're also going to install some Hall Effect sticks in here while we have the controllers open. This one should be fairly quick. I've actually not taken apart a V1 before though. I've only taken apart a Switch Lite. So my knowledge of taking this apart for the first time is going to definitely slow it down a little bit. But that's okay. So first of all, let's open the box and see what we got. I believe this is the Nintendo Famicom edition. Like I don't remember that Super Nintendo or if it's NES. So we'll I need to get better at some of that stuff myself as far as the knowledge goes. I only know so much. Know a little bit more about Game Boys, but that's okay. So we have a back plate. And by the way, I have to actually say this ExtremeRate company, they make some really nice stuff compared to other third-party shells that I've dealt with. So far, I haven't experienced any cracking from these shells, and they seem pretty sturdy. I got one for one of the younger kids, and she beats the hell out of stuff, and it's still holding up, so that's good news. This specific set comes with a set of black buttons. We won't be using all of them. Comes with some black triggers, black shoulder buttons. I believe that's a replacement home button backing. That's actually glows with the LED light. We have our gray matching stand. The default one is usually black. Let's see. And then, like the Super Nintendo or Nintendo Famicom, they come with all kinds of different color buttons, which we will be setting them up that way. It comes with a set of screws for replacements. I typically try not to use these, as I've been informed that these stock screws are usually a lot better, but we'll have these just in case we find out we're missing one. Replacement screen filters, I'll take those out because we definitely will be using those. It comes with its own set of screwdrivers. I have my own, so we won't be using those today, but that's okay. And then we have our actual Joy-Con replacements. She's kind of a simple person. She doesn't like a whole lot of detail, but she really does like the default look of the old school Nintendo. So this was actually a really nice kit for her. There we go. All right. We got all our parts out, so let's go ahead and take off the Joy-Cons. Let's see here. Bear with me one second. I just wanted to make sure my Twitch stream was working. All right, it seems to be working just fine. Okay. Well, I see some pretty obvious screws we need to take off. And that should be, let me get a screwdriver out. Usually use my Y3 bit right there. I'm not going to be shocked if we need a 0. And a screwdriver. Okay, so I'm seeing we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll start with those and see if we need to hit up any of these screws inside the wells that the Joy-Cons go into. And then of course, before we do that, taking out her memory card. And there is a Phillips 0 screw underneath there. So, oop, okay. Y3 is a little too big. Let's try a Y1.5. And that's about right. Too used to taking apart the Game Boy Advances. Now I'm going to be saving these parts because I'm actually really curious on painting one of these custom painting them. I just got a brand new airbrush and I'm looking forward to giving that a shot. I really like the cell shaded stuff. I'm not a great painter, so the cell shaded style seems to really work for me, because you could screw up on that and it'll still look good. Alright, there's 4 of the screws. And let's get the screw underneath the kickstand. That might be a 00. These things keep getting smaller and smaller. Yep, a 00 will work. Again, I really like doing this live. I want you guys to see how much I screw up and how not big of a deal it usually is. Although I should definitely watch those words because I'll be the first one to heavily screw up and not have a recovery for it. Okay, so I undid the screws. Something feels like it's biting, and I think it might be these side screws inside the wells there. There is 5 of them. It doesn't hurt to try and take them out and make sure that I'm not pulling too hard on something that's gonna break. Like I said, I'm gonna repaint this shell, so let's not break it. Oh, that would have been a smart move to do. Alright, you can see here on the replacement shell, those are the 2 bottom screws we gotta undo. There's one on the top, one on the side, which looks like it's just the middle one, one on the other side. I'm feeling pretty brave on this one, so I'm actually going to go ahead and put all the screws back in except for the middle ones and see if that works. Alright, now let's go for the bottom screws here. The bottom screws are a different size, so don't mix those up. It's the same type of head. It's a 00, but they are significantly smaller. And then there's the one on top right here, right by the air vents. Again, my whole thing is I really love screwing up. I'm pretty humble when it comes to this kind of stuff. I feel like it's the best way to learn. You just screw up until you stop screwing up. Although I am worried that my whole channel is going to be based off that, and eventually I won't screw up anymore. Alright. Just gently pulling this off. I don't want to snap anything. The only place that's kind of stuck right now is by the headphone jack. It just needed a little gentle persuasion, so that's not a big deal. Alright, this thing came off. Let's see if we need to pull any parts from it. I'm not sure if they gave me a replacement cartridge cover, so we're probably gonna have to reuse that one. And then the kickstand bracket, it looks like we're gonna have to reuse, so that's not a big deal. We'll take off the kickstand bracket first. that was actually taking off the kickstand. So this bigger silver screw just pops out the kickstand. And it looks like there's two, and that was with a Y screwdriver, by the way. Sorry, screwdriver bit. And then let's use the Phillips head for the inner mounts here. I'll put that over here so it's separated. And that just pops right out. Okay, looks like there's only one Phillips head screw for the cartridge cover. I'm gonna double check to see if they didn't give us a cartridge cover for this, because it'd be real nice if they did. The other thing I noticed is here's the replacement, where the replacement, what is that, air vent guards will go. And then there's also these foam pads on each side. I believe I actually saw some foam pad replacements. Go ahead and just move that up front here just a little bit. Bring in the brand new one. And we'll start lining up these pieces. That's the kickstand mount. Now it helps to align the screws properly, because you don't want to strip them, or what do they call that? Where you cross the threads. You definitely don't want to cross the threads on plastics like this. So I always turn the screwdriver left first until it kind of clicks into place or straightens out well enough. Then I start gently turning it right. And I'm not applying a whole lot of pressure on this. I mean, it is plastic. You could grip these screws and just end up blowing out the hole in this thing. I feel like if my girlfriend was here, she'd say that's what she said. But okay, great. So the new kickstand, we're just going to place that underneath, and this metal piece will pop down into it and pretty much hold on to it. Yeah, except when I set it down. Okay, pop that down, and I'm going to hold on to it this time. We're going to swap out our bits for the tri-wing, and then I place that screw right here. I'm going to set that down on a flatter surface real quick. Okay, that's pretty good. Snaps into place okay. All right, let's go ahead and get these grill guards in. Oh, guess what I didn't lose this time? My tweezers. All right. See, everybody, I'm getting better. These are pretty easy to place down. It'll cover the whole thing in the back, so it doesn't really matter if you just align it to the left or align it to the right. Either way, it's going to stick. Gotta remember to keep putting this stuff underneath the camera for you guys. Yep. All right. Perfect. All right, before we close the back end of this up, let's just give it a little clean with some isopropyl alcohol. And I always have plenty of cotton swabs laying around and little makeup pads. Makes it a lot easier to clean this stuff. And I just drop them on the ground behind me so they're out of the way. I pick them up after though, don't worry. Yeah, there was some good dust on there, a little bit of cat hair too. She loves her cats. Yikes. By the way, she has 3 kids, so as much as I love those kids, they do get their grimy little hands on this stuff sometimes. I think they even sometimes watch me too. They're probably like, hey, fuck you. They definitely would blame their mother. It's her grimy hands. Okay. Now that that's clean, what did I forget? Ah! I forgot to place the cartridge protector in there. Let's actually clean that. That's kind of dirty on its own. Let's see. Bear with me while I figure out how to align this. I should do this on the camera a little bit better. So there's 2 tabs here that these both align with. And then this top tab, this black cover aligns on it. There's 2 kind of tabs that indent down. Those are going to go down towards the bottom of the plate, and then that's just held in with 1 screw. If I can get the screw, I might. Oh, I got the wrong head on. By the way, if you're watching my my videos and you're like, what the hell is taking this guy so long? Please fast forward as much as you like. Like I said, my whole thing here is I just want to show everybody how long this takes. I want to show them all my screw ups. And that's what this is for. Believe me, all the time I'll watch videos and I'm just like, get to the damn point. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite when it comes to that. You will not hurt my feelings if you skip through this. Totally get it. Eventually, I hope to add some chapters to this. Like I said, again, I'm just learning. I'm I really want to give everybody that ability to skip through things fast, find the information they're looking for. I'm hoping to do shorts just so that it's specifically like, hey, this is how you take the backplate off. I'm not trying to hold you guys hostage to watch my videos 24/7 unless you actually enjoy them. Alright, what am I doing wrong here? We're going to make a change on the screwdriver bit, and for some reason I just can't get this one to line up properly. Which is weird, because it's the same one I undid it with, but we're going to go to a 000 this time, see if that kind of helps me out a little bit. Things going in all kinds of wonky. Yeah. Okay, 2 more top ones. I have a magnetizer in this set. I just need to pull it out and use it. Yeah, I gotta do that. Everything's easier, guys, with the right tools. That's a lesson I learned a long time ago. Trying to do a job when you don't have the right tools, just... why would you at this point? Yeah, no, I know why you would. Okay, wow. This one's just got to be the screws at this point because the magnetizer isn't working that well. Well, when you don't have the right tools or the right tools aren't working, then you got to have patience. That's probably another skill that it only took me 40 years to learn. And I'm still learning it. Alright, back to, no, well, it's a Y-wing, Philip 000, Philip 00 should work for these bigger screws, or Phillips 00, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to pop in the side screws. Alright, now we're going to switch to the Y 1.5, or the tri-wing, whatever you want to call it. Oh man. We're switching back to the Phillips 000, 000s. That was for the screw that was underneath the kickstand. There we go. Let's double check. All right, that should be the Y 1.5 right now. And we're just going to hit the 4 corners. Now I have a Switch 2, and it's so new that There's no way in hell I'm gonna put Hall effect sticks into it until I absolutely need to. I just don't want to pull a brand new system apart unless absolutely necessary. It's actually, from what I read up on, it's quite a bit more difficult to replace the, or to get those things apart compared to the Switch 1 controllers or Joy-Cons. Alright, there we go, that thing is on there. Really does look a lot better when it's all in one piece there. And let's go ahead and clean the screen for her. And I always have a microfiber towel handy just in case I need it. Yeah, she's got some scratches on this screen, but that's okay. I used this when I didn't have a Switch for a little bit too, and I couldn't even tell when the Switch was on. Alright. Let's go ahead and move some of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and place this off to the side for now. Get that out of the way. And let's work on left Joy-Con. Actually, not quite sure why she has a blue Joy-Con and a gray one. But if we find the red one, or I think that one might have had to have been replaced at one time. But if we find the red one, we'll just do the same thing. We'll put some nice new shells on it for her. Okay. So for this, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like just 4 Y-wings on the back. Let's make sure I got the right bit. Yep, Y 1.5. It's my girlfriend in the chat. She said, yep, yep. I don't know what she was agreeing to because I wasn't paying attention, but I'm sure it has something to do with the kids. Okay, screws are out. Okay. When I can't pry the plastics with my hands, I get some pry tools. You know, I'm usually pretty picky with tools, but I got this set off of Amazon. It's by a company called Jurist or something like that. I bought it because it had all the Game Boy cartridge and GameCube drivers in it. And it ended up coming with all these pry tools and stuff. I think what I'll do is post a link to that in the description eventually. Oh, yep. Second I took the pry tool to it, it just came off pretty easy at that point. Okay. So we got 2 ribbon cables to watch out for. So when you pull this off, definitely don't pull too hard. I don't see an easy way to get to those yet, but there are 2 almost brass looking screws. They're Phillips. I'm gonna go with the 000s on this one. This looks like it's for the LED sensor bar. Okay, that's interesting. That is the LED sensor bar along with the, what do they call it? The, cool, the button just fell out. The SL. SR. I actually forget what that does. I think that's got to be a pairing button or something. More than likely. I haven't used a Switch 1 in a while. You have to forgive me on that one. Okay. Oh, I love to see that. She's got the water sensor right there. It's just a strip that lets you know if there's ever been any water damage to it. If there was any water damage to it, the whole thing would be that same color pink that those dots are. If you see white and pink dots, that's a really good sign that there's no water damage to any of this stuff. Okay. I know this board in the middle needs to come out because there's one with the set here. That's basically the same thing. I'm gonna imagine that this just pops out somehow. The other thing we got here is the ribbon cable that... What is that? Oh, that's got to be the sensor that lets the switch unit know that the controller is actually slid in. So I'm going to take the tweezers here. And there's a latch right there. I'll actually get it a little closer for you. There's a latch right here that just goes up and down. I'm not going to push it down right now, but all I did was pop that up. And there we go. That's a separated piece for us. Let's disconnect the battery just to be on the safe side. For that, I really like to use these needle nose grips. That's not the battery. That is, I believe that's the rumble motor. That's okay. We needed to disconnect that anyways. Now how does that come out? It just stuck in there with a little bit of double-sided tape, so I did have to pull that out. Okay. Believe it or not, this probably isn't the smartest decision, but I did not read any instructions for tearing one of these apart. I'm just using my limited experience I have with electronics in general. And whatever I make mistakes on kind of just makes for some decent content. These connectors, man, they just... I'm really gentle with them as much as I can be. I've seen too many of them break when I just muscle them apart. So I just took the plastic, what do they call it, a sponger, and then just gently lifted on that until it popped out. The battery does not have... Oh yeah, it does have a tiny bit of double-sided tape on it. That's not a big deal. That just popped right out real easy. Alright. Now we have 4 screws that are underneath the battery. Again, if you want to have a better idea what's going on, you could probably just look at the replacement parts and find the screw holes, but I'm not that smart. For the second time tonight. Alright, there's one screw out. By the way these look also, you probably only have to take these 2 screws out right here. Let's test that theory. And they are different size screws, so we need to remember where they go. Alright, before I lift this, I just noticed something. There is a ribbon cable that is going through the left trigger there. I'm not going to yank this thing off. We're going to gently pop it out. Okay, there's actually quite a bit of room for error here. You see what I'm spreading that apart. Actually, you can see it from the other side just a little bit better. There's quite a long ribbon cable here. And the reason I can't pop this thing out is there is yet another screw on the end right there. So we'll take that screw off. And that should just pop right off to the side. All right, we've got another little flap right there that we'll get with the tweezers. And then this should just pop right out at this point. There we go, that piece is separated. What else we got here? Okay, now we can see the flap for the LEDs. I'm gonna wait on that one just for a second. Just because we have this one covering it. We'll go ahead and take that one off first. That is definitely the shoulder button. Now this shoulder button right here, I can see the spring, it's spring loaded. So I'm gonna grab the spring real quick, just real gently. There we go. That way it just doesn't go flying. It's not under a whole ton of spring pressure, so you don't really have to worry about that too much. But it's probably enough spring pressure just to send it flying a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take the shoulder button bracket out. Not only is that the shoulder button bracket, but nope, that's the minus key right there. Okay. This entire thing right here is the shoulder button bracket, and it looks like they are connected together. So that was 3 screws to get the shoulder button bracket out and the minus button. There we go. And I'm going to try and keep all those screws together along with that. There's the minus button and pad. Alright, to tell you the truth, I'm not even going to bother undoing this. There's probably no reason to. We're just going to go ahead and undo this tab right here. Now I can't tell if that's a flip tab or a pull tab. That is a flip tab. Good. You always want to be careful with these, man. Replacing these is a pain in the ass with the soldering skills. There's too many plastic pieces on those that if you don't do it right, you usually got to cover stuff up with Teflon tape, and you'll just end up causing more damage than good. So you're better off just taking your time with them. This is the joystick, by the way. We're gonna go ahead and take these 2 screws out, and we're gonna end up tossing these. I might keep them around just in case there's like an emergency and I don't have any new Hall effect ones. I got to get somebody up and running again. But I mean, there's some good wear on these, and actually they're really not that bad. I think the other one was worse because one of these actually had a cover on it. The other thing we're going to want to pull out is we're going to pull out the cover. This is a dust guard for the Joy-Con. They have these same exact ones as the Switch Lite. By the way, the Hall effect sticks are exactly the same for both the Switch and Switch Lite. It might even be for the OLED, but don't quote me on that one yet. So back earlier when I was saying I don't even think you need to take these 2 screws out of the 4-screw section. It doesn't matter if you do or not. If you wait, you're just going to have to take them out when you take out the board. There's the pad. This is, what is this, the D-pad? Yeah, this is the D-pad. And the screenshot button. I don't even know if I really need to take all these things out right now, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to be reusing them. But that's okay. They're out. I'll put them in a nice plastic bag later. Okay. This piece is definitely going to be reused. This is the bracket for both the SL, SR buttons and the sync button and the sensor. So those are definitely going to be reused. It looks like they're just held in with 2 screws. I'm pretty sure this video was only going to be like a 15-20 minute video tonight, but I really get into this, so I want to explain as much as I can. That way everybody's got all the details they need. I think that was actually just 1 screw holding that in. Okay, and a tiny bit of double-sided tape right there. I'm gonna try and salvage that. There we go. And don't forget about, that's the button so that you can pop it off the Switch. We definitely do not want to forget that. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got a home button, we got the plus button, we got the minus button, screenshot button, SRs, buttons, SL buttons. In my experience, as much as Extreme, what the heck are they called again? I'm sorry. ExtremeRate. Wanted to make sure I got that right. They are not sponsoring me or anything. I don't know why I'm caring about it that much, but like I said, I like their product, so I might as well get it right. As much as I like ExtremeRate, and their buttons are better than pretty much anything I've gotten off of AliExpress except for ExtremeRate, AliExpress. These stock buttons sometimes just feel that much better. This is gonna be case by case. I mean, these buttons do look pretty good compared to, I'll just give them kind of a little clean with some alcohol, and if they look just fine after that, then I'll reuse the stock buttons. So let's start off with the bottom plate. And we'll pop the ejection button in there. Now, if you look carefully at these buttons, they have tabs on the end of them to make sure that you align it correctly. After we get that in, we'll look at our side with the double-sided tape there and just make sure the LEDs are facing out. will align. Actually, before I press this down, there's two alignment little stubbies right here. All you got to do is make sure that those holes align to that. And I'm just going to give it a gentle little press with the double-sided tape. And then I need to make sure I get all these buttons back in. So we need, there's SL and SR, and I didn't check this to begin with, but they are look at the way that they're facing. The SR, the bottom of the SR needs to be facing up towards the buttons on the front face of the Joy-Con. I definitely don't want to mix that up and have the buttons all funky and go in the wrong direction. So this is the bottom right here, which means okay, in this case I changed my mind. These are blue. That's not going to look right. So, best way to handle this is to get some flush cutters and very carefully cut them off the bracket. Now you could just pop them in like this if you want to, but I really like to make sure, because I could see just a little bit right there. I'm just gonna take a really fine nail file. Now, I'm not worried about scuffing these buttons on the bottom right here. You'll never see it. And I'd rather make sure that these are fully functional and never get caught on anything. There we go. One thing I plan on doing is actually rebuilding things, testing them thoroughly, and then potentially selling them. Where I live in the, I guess you could call it the Bay Area, there's a lot of fandom for retro consoles. A lot of us are in the tech industry around here still, and man, you just kind of get tired of new age computers sometimes. That's what I do for a living. I do business to business IT for not just one business. I do it for multiple businesses. When I come home, the last thing I want to do is mess with a computer sometimes. So I do enjoy my consoles. I still have a strong enough computer to PC game when I want to. There's games out there that definitely don't have a choice but to play them on a PC. Most of the time I'm actually running Linux as an operating system also. I got sick of Windows. Not sick of them when it comes to making money. They sure do keep me busy with the job, that's for sure. Okay. So also make sure left, right. There we go. There's... Oh man, I just pulled out two rights. That's okay. We'll just pull them all out and we'll sand them down and make sure they're all ready to go. So I mean, pay attention. Last thing I want to do is fix one of these up and sell it to somebody, and then there's 2 lefts on one controller and 2 rights on another. Like, what an idiot. What'd I buy from this guy? By the way, I really don't think I'm an idiot. I just have fun with it. I got a dark sense of humor. I don't have any problem making fun of myself. If I was an idiot, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You guys were welcome to call me an idiot, though. I don't mind. Could put that one down without even sanding it. There are alignment tabs on this, by the way. Be careful not to sand those down if you're going to go through all this. They let you know which side they should go in. It's actually kind of funny. They really help whoever designed these. You can't really screw this up from what it looks like. So these have 2 nubs on them on the right ones. There's one right there, 2 nubs right next to each other. The left ones only have 1 nub. Interesting. So where these go in is this one has a thicker hole for the 1 nub. This one has a center divider for the 2 nubs. Using your tweezers on this really is pretty helpful, by the way. There we go. That aligns with the 2-to-1. And this one aligns with the thicker hole. Do not forget the membranes underneath. These look like they will fit in either way. Not sure if those are easier to put in before or after. We'll find out as we get these finished here. Okay. Let's see. Now I gotta remember what order I did this in. Let's go ahead and start working on the front face of this. Yeah, we'll get that in a minute. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and get these buttons down. So there is a ton of different little tabs here, all facing different directions. This is to help you make sure that you align everything up properly. All right, that one seems to fit there. Nope. This is going to be the most challenging part of the night for me, I think. You guys remember that one video? Like, the square hole goes inside the square hole. There we go. The circle shape goes inside, you guessed it, the square hole. I wish I knew what that lady's name is. She is absolutely hilarious. You know what? There's some scuffs on a couple of these. I'm gonna put these aside and just see how the new ones turn out. Drop one. Well, you guys see how long this is taking me to do this. I mean, I didn't even think it was going to take this long. But you ever wonder why people charge so much for modded consoles? Time is money, guys. I forgot, I'm not even going to be using the A, B, X, and Y because I'm going to use the colored ones. Alright, that's everything cut out. These ones flush cut pretty easy also, so it's not going to take much sanding to make sure that these things are flawless. Perfect. Sometimes I see the difficulty that some streamers have with focusing on the project that you're working on and making sure you get it all in the camera view. Gotta love flush cutters. Okay, we're gonna pop the membrane back on. And everything's facing the correct way, so that's good. Okay, so didn't pay attention, but well, that's a square also, but home's on here. That means the screenshot button's on the other controller. Now this one was a little bit difficult to get with the flush cutter. Let's see if I can just wedge these in there just a little bit more. Nope. You know, this one's also going to be hard to get with the file too. It's not too bad actually. So you always get all the membranes on. There we go. Just drop the stock minus on the ground. Okay. We'll go ahead and work on getting, just before we put that in, see if we can get the main motherboard for this Joy-Con back in. That'll help keep all the stock buttons down. And it's not going down very easily, and that's because the membrane didn't quite sit well. Let's flip the membrane over. That should be fine. Helps to really have this lifted off the table too, because it just does not want to sit very well when you have downwards pressure on it. That's no problem though. Now, there are these, let me see. These two holes right here will help you align the board back into place. And what we're going to want to do is get one of these smaller silver screws. Uh-oh. If you forget which direction they go in, there's two sets of different size holes. One of them actually has a lip to hold this tray down. The other two holes don't have a lip. The ones that don't have a lip are the smaller screws. So that'll help you remember which screws go where. Perfect. And the third silver screw goes all the way at the end. All right. Now that that's back in, we'll go ahead and put in the ribbon cable for the, let's think about this here. There was kind of a little bit of an order to it. I think what I'm gonna do is actually put in the Hall Effect Joy-Con. Get our screw straight here. Make sure that these are all aligned properly. Reason I want to get the Hall Effect joystick in first is because I believe that the ribbon cable for the minus and shoulder buttons needs to go over this when it's already screwed in. So right now I'm trying to get the ribbon cable in for this Joy-Con. There we go. Just take your time with it. Don't bend it too much, just bend it just enough to get in there. And when it's in there, go ahead and flip that tab down. Make sure it's flat. That should be good. All right. Remember, this one takes 3 of those tiny silver screws. I'm going to start off with getting that is the pad for the minus button. We're going to get that one down first. I may not tighten this one down all the way though, because it looks like it might be kind of hard to align. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to tighten that down all the way yet. The shoulder button has 2 screws. We'll get those aligned first and then we'll tighten them all down. I think I just went in the wrong hole. It's another, that's what she said. Why is there a hole there? Oh, I see. That's to align it to like a little plastic stub down there. All right. Again, as long as you guys are gentle with these, yeah, you're not going to screw it up too bad. Not permanently anyways. Cool. So these two screws are in. That is the little stubby sticking out that you align it with. And now I'll tighten everything down. All right, and like I said, I remember this at least. This ribbon cable goes over that screw hole. That's why I wanted to get the Hall Effect stick in first. So we'll just lift this up. Carefully stick the ribbon cable back in. And then when it's in, we'll go ahead and pop that door back down. There we go. We're almost there. All right, next thing to work on. Let's go ahead. Well, we can get the, no, I'm gonna do that part after. All right, here's the two left sticks. I want to say this shiny one. Shiny one's the new one. I actually don't know if I like that. There's kind of some imperfections in these. Almost looks like somebody like smoothly gouged it right there. All right, with this one, I'm gonna take some rubbing alcohol, clean these off. And we're gonna use the stock ones for the shoulder buttons. If they were different color than black, I'd probably change my mind and just use whatever color was supposed to go with the color scheme there. But in this case, since they're all black, I might as well use the stock ones. These don't have too much wear to them either. Maybe a little bit more dirt on this one. I don't care how clean you are, you're always going to get finger gunk in these. Nice and clicky, that's what we want. We also do not want to forget the spring. Have some patience with these. These things don't always want to go down very well. Now, from what I remember when doing the switch light, I kind of found it easier to start the spring. And then to set it down. There we go. Nice and clicky, what we want. Okay. So we need this piece right here. Looks like I got a little too far ahead of myself on this bottom screw here. That's all right. So that might not end up that may not be a silver screw. That might actually end up being the golden screw. The golden screws are just a little bit longer to account for the plastic on this. Before I put this in though, we need to take the ZL button off. And that is spring loaded. And if I remember correctly, these just pop out. They were actually a little bit easier to take out on the switch light. They were just connected by pads. But they also weren't clicky on the switch light. It's all right, we'll get this one figured out. I'm gonna take my tweezers and see if I can just pop it out through here. Nope. There's two springs in this. All right. Okay, I see. This is definitely going to be a yank of some sort. It's really hard to tell on this on the black shell, but I can see that there's two nubs coming off each post here, and it's just clicked into there somehow. There is a couple other areas that it could be hooked up onto. But I don't really see it doing that. So in that case, let me take the tweezers and see if I can push them through this hole this time, maybe one at a time. These tweezers are kind of sharp, so I don't want to just poke at the plastic. Just trying to give it a good yank down. I do have replacements of these. Did I do it without breaking it? Yeah, I think so. Oh, hey there. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to chat very much tonight, but it's a switch one. If you're still here. All right, this ribbon cable is the clicky button for the ZL button. So we'll grab our new tray, get that down. There's at least one hole to align it. Yep, there's that one hole right there for the alignment. We'll get that screw back in. Let's see if we can clean this button up a little bit. Make sure we get in the 2 springs. Actually, real quick, you can see there's a post sticking out of these holes right here. That's basically to hold the spring. Well, not basically, it is. Put in both springs. All right, now we gotta try and set this button back down without launching the springs. Trying to see if there's any special alignment that we can do here, but I don't know. Okay, I see it. I'll show you guys. There's 2 posts, one right here, one right here. That's where those springs should align with. Easier said than done, though. All right, that's snapped in. The springs, it looks like one of them might have been off alignment a little bit. Tell you what, this black end piece right here really does not make it easy to see down here. Snap that back off again. Might see if there's some tricks later. I'm gonna suffer with it tonight, but I'll see if there's any tricks later to... Did it just pop out? Yeah, it did. Jesus. See if this gets any easier. There we go. I think it's kind of just knowing where to align this this back piece up. Once you figure out how to line that up, it actually goes in pretty easy, and there's really not much pressure on the springs at that point. So both of these are in okay. Good stuff. Okay. So this time what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get this ribbon cable in first. Just lost my shoulder button. It's all right. I'm losing buttons on the ground now. That's great. It's all right. All right, so I got the spring in first, but it was off a little bit, but that should be easy just to press down. Okay. So just be cautious of the ribbon cable alignment here. We want to make sure that it's tucking through this hole and wrapping around to the other side. That way we don't pinch the cable down. After that, it should be as simple as just setting it into place. Nope, see? There I am with the ribbon cable. I'm just gently pressing this together until it all aligns. That looks like good alignment, so we'll take the 3 gold screws. And we'll set the plastics. I think all it's going to take is one in order for you to be able to put it down like I just did. There we go. Okay. Let's see where I'm at here. Just want to keep track of these screws here. I got 1 short screw left still. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Yes, I did. Okay, but it's not a big deal actually. This 1 small screw, I believe, goes on the bottom part here. That should be it. We'll get these buttons back into place. All right, I'm gonna put something underneath this. Let's put the battery underneath it for now. In order to keep these buttons from falling out, we'll have to get this plate back on. Before we get that plate back on, we'll need to get this button back in. Now the question is, was there a membrane for that? I believe there was, and I think it's this membrane right here. There's only one logical way that looks like it'll fit. You see it's the, it's got like a little U shape there. That should go towards the bottom of the plate. All right, with that all in, I'm gonna take the top piece, which is all done. Buttons all seem like they're working okay. I'm gonna lay that right next to it. And we should be able to align it. Okay. It does pretty much fall into place once you get it positioned right. Just be patient with that. Make sure we get our screw lined up. All right, I'm not going to tighten that all the way down yet. Make sure we get the other screw in. Careful not to cross thread it. There we go. All right, before I get all that back together, it doesn't look like we got much else to do here. Oh no! All right, I screwed up. I forgot something. I know it seems like such a small thing, but I forgot the dust cover. Well, learn from my mistakes. I'm not gonna do this half-assed. We're gonna take this thing apart and get it all back in again. I'm gonna take the dust cover out this time so I remember it. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna see if I can do this without completely taking this bottom piece apart. This will help you guys figure out if it's just really easy to replace the sticks. Because sometimes that's all you want to do is replace the sticks. You don't have to replace the entire shell. So we'll find out. Take out the 3 screws that are holding the plastic piece and we're just going to flip that over. And yeah, this actually isn't going to be that bad. Good. I'm not going to unscrew this, but we are very carefully going to bend that back. We're going to undo these 2 screws. I may not even take the ribbon cable off for that too. Whatever ribbon cables I can avoid, I'm going to. I can feel the shoulder button come out. Oh, just barely. That's okay. Alright, so we're going to take this out, or flip it over. Carefully, we do not want to break that ribbon cable. And we're going to take our tweezers here. Now, I know some of you might be looking at this and be like, why did you even waste all that time for just a tiny little piece of plastic? I mean, the engineers that developed this have been doing this longer than I would ever know how to take these things apart. I'm just looking for these little tabs here. Make sure I got this the right way, actually. I mean, there's a reason that they have these in here, and it's because I'm sure there's been gunk and dust that'll get in there. This little plastic piece right here will hopefully potentially save it. There we go. The tabbed areas on the ends have just a little bit of stickiness to them. And they're lined up pretty well there. Good. So I'm going to flip the Hall Effect stick over. Ah, there we go. Shoulder button finally came out. I'm being very, very cautious of the ribbon cables here. Get the screws for these back in. Well, now you guys know that if you just want to replace the sticks, you don't have to undo all these damn ribbon cables. They are kind of a pain. Let's see if we can get the shoulder button back in. Nice. All right. Before I flip any of these, let's go ahead and lift this gate again. Nice, got it in with the fingers this time. Sorry, these little plastic flaps always make me nervous. All right, there we go, that's down. Now we can flip this over. Just be cautious of the routing. Watch out for the damn... If I wasn't filming this, I'd probably take a break tonight because it's getting late. But we're gonna finish this tonight. All right, that's aligned right. Let's get in one of these 2 screws. 3 screws. Makes me a little nervous because, like I said, from what I've heard, the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are a heck of a lot harder to pull apart. And you see how long this one's taken me to do, right? Again, my first time. Next time should be easier. We're going to put the rumble pack back in. Press down on that firmly. I'm going to carefully get my needle nose grips here. Put that in place and gently push down. There we go. Last part, I believe. Nope, not the last part. Okay, we need to get this ribbon cable in. This is for the sensor that lets the Switch know that the controller is plugged in. Sorry guys, this one's a little hard to see. There might be a better order to put this ribbon cable in, probably before I put the middle plastics on. Let me see if that grabbed though. That looks like it might still be out a little too far. There we go, that's in for sure. Be careful with the really sharp pliers like I have here. There's so many metal contacts on that PCB that the last thing I want to do is gouge it. All right, let's take a look around, make sure there's no more parts here that I got to worry about. Where the hell did that come from? Everything looks pretty good here. I know where this came from. These were supposed to go on the back plate. Well, I got one more thing to do tonight. Like I said, I'm not doing this half-assed. Alright, I'm just trying to get this battery contact lined up enough so I can push it down. I'm just trying to take a dull object and give it a good push. There we go. Flip the battery around so that it all falls into place perfectly. And I think we're good to go. Let's carefully close this up. Make sure everything aligns into place correctly. Looks like the back end of it should go in first. And yeah, that's all sandwiched together just fine. All right, so that should be our last 4 tri-wing screws. This is my Phillips 000, Phillips 00 tri-wing. These outside screws do not want to magnetize very well. Probably the type of metal they are. All right, I'm just going to drop these screws in the holes. Or try. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and give it a little test. It seats just fine, that's good. Battery's dead. All right. Tell you what, let's let this charge just for a second, see if I can get a battery. It should be fine, but I'd really like to test it out and make sure the buttons are working before I move on to the next controller. Give me 2 seconds to grab a drink while that charges, and I'll be right back. Well, as many mistakes as I make, I'm actually pretty confident that's working. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this charging, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead and move on with this. We can't let it charge all night. All right, I got that charging off to the side. We'll make sure everything works when we're done tonight. So here we go. Control Joy-Con. This is the right one, number 2. I'm not going to explain this one as much. I'm just going to see if I'm not as much of an idiot this time and get it done faster. Learned something new right now. Sticking the spray tool in here actually made that a lot easier to come off. So, all right. Tell you what, let's see if what do we need to replace here? Let's see if this will come off the plastic easier. Just by undoing the screw without undoing all the ribbon cables right now. Oh, let's use the right head. How do you like that? Alright. Told you I'd get better at this stuff. I'm only stupid the first couple times. I do want to change these buttons, so for right now, we'll go ahead and take this off real quick. We're just going to focus on changing these buttons without pulling any of these other ribbon cables off. We'll keep this one here. Alright, let's just take this button out. This is SL. It was placed like that, so we'll grab another SL. Nope, that's SR. SL, face the same way. All right, one more button to pull out. Just putting the membranes back in. And that should go this way. Get these screws, put them back in. Not going to tighten it down all the way yet. Let's get it aligned right. Oop. What doesn't it like? Maybe it'll be easier to align this one first. All right. Well, that's awesome. I think we just figured out how to do this a hell of a lot quicker next time. All right, so we'll take this bottom piece and line it up properly. Oop, forgot a button. Definitely don't want to forget that button. Okay. Align the back plate. Get that last screw. Okay, well, backplate's done. That's great. That was much easier. Ooh, there's one extra piece on this one that I'm not, this is the infrared sensor. This is on the right controller. I forgot that the left controller doesn't have an infrared sensor. Okay, let's try and go with the same. Okay, this also has another little sensor right here. I'm actually not sure what that is. That's the NFC sensor. That's what that has to be for the amiibos. Okay, so I'm just pulling that out gently. Let's pop the battery out of here. Remember, there's going to be a little bit of double-sided tape. Okay, battery's out. Use the grippy needle noses to get the rumble pack out. Again, there's double-sided tape in there. That just pops right out. Let's see what this infrared sensor. Okay, the infrared sensor, it blends in with this shell right here, but there is a black ribbon cable going through there, so we definitely don't want to yank that out right now. This middle plastic tray is definitely a little bit different. It looks like there's two screws more towards the what is it, ZR button this time? And then there's one screw at the bottom that's kind of just like the other one. Let's be careful of ribbon cables. And this one does not want to pull out like the other one did. Okay, double-sided tape, that's all it is. Okay, I'm just gonna carefully fold this one over. Okay, that is not possible, actually, easily. This one is a lot shorter. Sorry, I'm hoping that you guys can see this. So I'm just going to tilt this to the side, and we're going to flip open the little tab there. And we're going to gently pull out that ribbon cable. This one is going to be a bitch to get back in. See how tiny that ribbon cable is this time? That's how much room we're going to have to play with. Oh, that's going to suck. Okay. We're going to flip the tab this time for the joystick, and we're going to go ahead and take that one out this time, right now. Okay, and if I can, actually I'm going to wait on taking that out right now. Let's not forget though, huh? I'll go ahead and take the shoulder button out, watching carefully for the spring. And I think what we're going to do is try and just take the PCB board for this out without disconnecting any more of the ribbon cables. So it looks like there's only 2 screws holding it in. I could see on the far left edge here, there is a ribbon cable in there. So we're going to be super careful when we pull this one up. So far, stripping this down has actually been quite a bit faster than the other one. We'll see if getting it back together is going to be the same. All right, lifting up on this. Again, we're going to be real careful. This side's a little bit of a struggle. I'm not sure why. I think what we're looking at, I'm actually not quite sure what this is, with it being on the side. I'll look that up. Maybe I'll try and put it in the details. It looks like the NFC reader, that's quite possibly what this is right here. It looks like there's a flat plate underneath here. Jesus. All right, let's go ahead and undo this one. You know what? There's another ribbon cable right here, and I believe that one is actually for the infrared sensor. Let's go ahead and undo both of them, just so we can get this board out without risking ripping those cables. All right. Well, at least now we can get a closer look at what's going on there. We're going to pull out the membranes for the plus, the ABXY, the home button, which has a clear membrane, so you can see the LED. Try and get this plus button out. Just flip it over at this point. All right, and let's see what kind of sensors we have here. Looks like these are double-sided tape down, so we're gonna carefully pull these up. There we go. let's not forget the dust guard. There's something else in the way right now, though. That's just double-sided tape down too. This, I'm almost positive, I'm 99% positive without looking this up that this definitely is the NFC sensor. So I'll have to look up what this thing is. I don't know if that's just another form of it or what the heck that is, to be honest with you. All right, now we should be able to get under the dust cover just fine. All right, let's do that first. Let's go ahead and get this dust cover down so I don't forget it. Make sure that's aligned correctly, and then we'll go ahead and push down the sticky tabs. Okay. What I'm going to do now is actually look up the order that the Nintendo Famicom colors went in. Nintendo Famicom. That's not it. Famicom SNES. That is what it is. Okay. Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. That's what it was. So, we got blue on top, we got yellow on the bottom, we got green on the left, and red on the right. Let's see if we can get these to line up properly. They've only given me 2 of each color, it looks like. Oh no, I see what they did. They gave you colored up, down, left, and right keys too. Okay, good. Y is green. Help if I turn that the right way. There we go. Y. X is blue. At least they got these correct. That would have really bothered me if they didn't get these the correct color. I don't know why. That just is a pet peeve of mine. That's X. That means yellow's on the bottom. Oh, that doesn't line up right. Why don't you line up? go ahead and flip this over real quick and see what's going on. That would be why. Y is correct. X is not. There we go. There we go. Last one. All right. Let's go ahead and put that in there, the membrane. Let's go ahead and find our plus button. Get that lined up right. That does not look right. That'll work. Get the membrane in for the plus button. Yeah, even as long as this takes, I really enjoy doing this stuff. It's just fun for me. I'm going to use the stock home button. Got the membrane in for that just fine. Okay. Make sure we're not missing anything out of here. We'll fold over the board. Make sure we have this aligned the correct way. We're forgetting a lot of stuff. Not we, me. Okay, what are we forgetting here? We gotta get this aligned correctly. This is the infrared sensor. And I'll go ahead and give the ribbon cable a push down. See if it'll actually stick. And if I remember correctly, you could see the wire, that's going to be face down. And that all aligns just fine. Okay, now we can pop our motherboard in there. Okay, bear with me while I'm doing this part. This is the part I was worried about. It's gonna be a real pain in the ass here. Tell you the truth, if I was only replacing the sticks on these, I would much rather take the ribbon cables out for the LED sensor and the that way when you take the controllers out and share a controller with somebody, these would be much easier to deal with, and just flip the motherboard up this way if you were just replacing the sticks. So definitely keep that in mind. If I'm ever doing the sticks, I'm not going to forget this part because this sucks. What I might do in this case, let's try this. Let's go ahead and take the infrared sensor out. And let's go ahead and take the NFC sensor out. I wonder if I'll have better luck actually just plugging these in first. Well, that went in real nice and easy. Now from what I'm noticing, go ahead and make sure that this ribbon cable for the infrared sensor goes in between the NFC sensor and the PCB. The way that this one's bent though, this one just feels more difficult than the other one. Alright, so that's in. Ah, that sucks. All right, I see. Order of operation. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out. We'll get this one in first. We'll lay it down so we can get this tab down. There we go. Now we'll bend it back. Don't get frustrated with this. This is how you're definitely going to break some ribbon cables if you do. But don't get me wrong, I'm having a hard time with it myself. Alright, that ribbon's in. Let's hope this flap goes down a little easier. There we go. Okay, now let's pray I can get this in pretty easy. So I'm going to try and jimmy in the infrared sensor first. That's in. And ideally, the NFC chip just kind of falls into place. And so does the PCB. All right, guys, I think that's a good way to do it. Make sure that this side of the board goes down all the way. Okay. Now let's take our two smallest screws. Play some hand acrobatics here. Make sure we get the right hole too. And I'm just getting the PCB into place. Get those screws down. Everything will hold into place then. Okay. Almost there. Alright, these things are fun. If we remember correctly how to do this. Cool. That came out nice and easy, actually. These really do help. Remember, there's 2 springs in there. Those can just come out. All right. That just fell right in. Cool. Okay, let's get these springs back in. Get a little bit of rubbing alcohol and wipe that button off. Okay, and then we'll get that lined up with the springs. Even the springs are in a little bit of a different position this time. These might actually be easier to align even if we miss them. Nice. Got that aligned right the first time. All right. Where the hell? God, that sucks. Alright, what else am I missing on this side? Because there's another PCB right there. Wow. Excuse me, it's late. There's another tab ribbon device right there. I feel like I'm missing something. Gotta be missing something. That goes there. Well, I got these both in there. Now I gotta get the shoulder button back in, which we'll go ahead and wipe that down real quick. Okay, that's working. What the hell goes there? Something's got to go there. I know what goes there. Wow. Nah, I think it's the other Joy-Con. Wow. There we go. Gotta realize I'm getting old here and I can't be doing this late at night all the time. So busy though. If I don't do it late at night, I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do it. At least we remember the dust cover this time. Okay, that should be in. Now let's figure out how we're gonna get this fucking thing in. Oh, that is tough. Let's see if I could just coast that thing in there. The flap for that is actually really loose, and probably by design. Man, that sucks. I wish I could show you guys this a little bit better. This one's just going to be a little challenging. Just remember, be real patient with this. Oh, that fucker's almost in there. No! Damn it. gonna be the next 3 hours of this video is just gonna be me struggling with this one video cable or ribbon cable. There's gotta be a better way to do this. Have to bend these tweezers in. Yikes, man. I don't know why they couldn't give us a little bit more slack on this one. This one, all right, let's take this off. This one, we're getting this on here. We're gonna find the better way. Oh, there goes the spring. Got it back though. All right, I'm gonna take this ribbon cable out real quick. We're not gonna lose the screw. And we're gonna get this ribbon cable set. Even this is a pain in the ass. All right, let's see if we can get that all the way down. Seems like it's down all the way. There we go. All right. See, we're learning something new here. We're gonna get this in place. First of all, is there any other ribbon? Nope, we're good. Just make sure that whatever this is, and we're gonna find out eventually, make sure that's out of the way. Okay, all that's pressed in, that's great. Let's make sure we have plenty of torque room to work with here. Actually, I'm okay with popping this screw in. Let's go ahead and get this one screw down real quick. All right, that's in. Now let's go ahead and get the center cradle screws in. Once we have those in, I think we should just be able to pop in the springs and the button, and we should be good to go. Again, if you're kind of just watching the video at this point and skipped a lot of what I talked about earlier, I purposely want you guys to see me struggle with this. It's everything I struggle with, you guys are going to learn how to not do it that way. So eventually my videos will have to get a little bit more boring, and I'll just be getting through it real quick. But for now, enjoy all the screw ups. Okay. Let's go ahead and get that battery in next. I like to use something dull and flat to push this down with. There we go. Make sure it's popped in the right way. And then, let's go ahead and get this button in next. Get those springs in. Hopefully this doesn't backfire. I don't think it will. I think we got this. Take the little nubs that are here and here, line those up on the springs. I have to turn this a little bit. All right, the springs are aligned. I'm just gonna gently find the alignment for this button. Which is not working out too well. There we go. Springs are aligned, buttons in. I believe our last piece right now is the rumble pack. We're going to push that down into place. We're going to grab our grippy needle noses. Push that in. And we should be able to close this up. Remember, align the back first. And then push it close forward. Something's not aligning right there, but we'll get it figured out. Good. Okay. Just need to get that a little snap, and let's get these last screws in. Leave it to me to misplace the tri-wing. Oh, it's right here. Jesus. You know, if anybody that ever actually does this professionally looks at these videos, I'd actually love to hear what you think of this. I feel like a lot of you guys would be laughing at me, but not laughing at me, laughing with me. Usually you guys are pretty nice people that probably would just get a kick out of watching somebody struggle but succeed at the same time. And I think you understand what my message is here and what I'm trying to do. But yeah, anybody ever watches this video that's more experienced than I am, feel free to send me a message, man. I definitely appreciate it. Cool. All right, the switch is definitely charged enough. Let's slide that down. Let's verify the buttons work. And let's go ahead and go to system settings. And what are we looking for here? I believe it's controller and sensors. Okay, let's calibrate control sticks first for the heck of it. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay, left stick is not something I like. Yeah, we'll contact the manufacturer about that. Or, you know what? Sorry, let's recalibrate real quick. Calibrate. Release. Down. Left. Up. Hey, there we go. See, I was about to jump the gun there. Alright, let's check the other stick. Okay, they just need to be calibrated, I imagine. Recalibrate only if there's a problem. We'll calibrate. Very cool. No problem. All right. That black thing on the screen, get that out of there. Oops, what did I just do? Controls and sensors. Test input devices. Test controller buttons. Minus, plus, A, B, X, Y. Up, down, left, right. Left click, right click. Right shoulder, right trigger, left trigger. All right. Test the touch screen. That works just fine. Press the home button. Press the screenshot button. Is there a way to test the rumble? Yep. That's working just fine. I can feel it in both. See if there's any updates. All right, so after that's done, I got one more thing I'm doing tonight. I really want to get these pads in where they're supposed to go, and those were supposed to go underneath here. There's one that went here. Oops, sorry. There's one that went on this side, one that went on that side, I believe. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. Just learn from me and pay better attention to all the things that came in the parts pack here. I'm a completionist, but we're not going to film another 10 minutes just to put these sticky pads on here. Again, I'm really happy to be doing this. I have a lot of cool stuff coming pretty soon. I've been learning how to use OBS Studio pretty good. I have some nice overlays coming in, and hopefully some better ways for you guys to get involved with me here. I'll be moving over the next month, so streams are going to be possibly a little sloppy here and there, but I'm going to keep streaming as I can. So please subscribe if you get a chance. That's going to help me keep going here. And hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.